In this video, I'm going to give you the lowdown on what happened with the pre-orders for the Xbox Series X and S in the United States. Subscribe to the Linus Wilson channel where we give you the tips and tricks to crush the games that you love. Okay, so the pre-orders went live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Time in the US, right? Was preceded by pre-orders in Australia, New Zealand, Europe, and it was pretty clear if you were watching the pre-orders that the Series X were going fast, and the Series S, the $299 version, the white one, the little one, was going slow. And you know, I kind of reevaluated what I was thinking about for the Series S, because I looked at the specs again, and it had, of course, it has no drive. It's got half the disk space, but it also had a third of the teraflops. And I thought it had half the teraflops, and I was like, oh, a third of the teraflops. So it didn't seem like a great deal. I also just didn't like I got the PS5, but I'm worried about breaking the PS5, and that sucker looks really big and heavy. Whereas I could see moving around and storing the Xbox. I just think the Xbox personally looks better, but I'm agnostic. I own both, and I own a PS4 right now. Never owned an Xbox before. So from my perspective, this is how it went down. There were 3 retailers that were live right at 11. There's Walmart, Target, and Microsoft. And I had opened all the retailers that were listed. It turns out there was like one retailer I'd never heard of that was not listed on the Microsoft website. Nobody knew about it until I think Wario64 tweeted it out. But I was able to get the cart for all 3 of those retailers. I probably would have checked out with Walmart, but because I had bought the PS5 at Walmart, my credit card company with that credit card saw an identical charge at the identical retailer, and they flagged it. And even though I cleared the flag, it was out of my cart by that time and sold out. And it was bumpy, right? It was bumpy on all sides. I was not familiar with the Target checkout, and I didn't realize I was supposed to put in my that 3-digit code for your credit card at one page. And so had I done that quickly, I might have checked out with Target. I don't know, but I only got one. I got one from Microsoft, and I got the confirmation email. I got the confirmation on the your Microsoft Store account. So that was good for me. And then after that, still by that time, nobody else was online except for maybe GameSpot. GameSpot was kind of doing weird things with the holding page, and it was really hard to get to actually see the units. I never did, but some people did, but they're kind of regretted that they did because it took them so long. And then, of course, GameSpot in person had a very low allocation. My local GameSpot only had an allocation of 2 consoles of the X and 2 of the S, Series S and Series X. I didn't see very much PS5 action going on either. There was some PS5 action in Europe. So I think in Spain, UK, and maybe some other places in Europe that there were some PS5s that went for sale. And I'm going to show you a link that says that there were some PS5s sold today at noon Eastern at Sam's Club. But I have not confirmed that with anybody on Twitter who has said they got one. Okay, so you got those 3 retailers. Walmart sells out first, then Target. Although Target was kind of glitchy, and I think people got stuff from Target late, and so even after I was sure they were sold out, other people have told me that they got it. And then I think that it was like Amazon was switching its page all the time. They were switching its link for Xbox, and then very late, like over an hour after things were supposed to open, Best Buy opened, Newegg opened, and so there were some units sold there. But definitely the S units were selling slower, and they were definitely more available. And even up until I'm recording this, you could get an X if you sign up for Microsoft's All Access Games program. So for $35 a month for 2 years, that you get the Xbox Series X and the games. Pass, and don't ask me what's on the All Access Games Pass, but that includes the EA Sports and a lot of other great games. I don't play a lot of games. I play like a few games very intensely. So I do RPGs, single player RPGs, and that's most of what I'll play. I think it's a bad deal for me, but I don't know, if it's a family console and a lot of different people are playing it and they have a lot of different tastes, then maybe the Games Pass is the way to go, right? That seems to me it's a better deal if you kind of have a lot of different people playing on the same Xbox. Or you don't necessarily play through games. You like to play games for a little bit and then try another one and try another one. Then a Games Pass type thing might be the better deal, right? Especially with the new PS5 games going for $70. And then if you get the special editions, it's out of this world. So I can see a lot of people that the Games Pass is a better deal. Me, I don't like monthly fees, and it is going to increase the cost of the. If you get the Games Pass and you don't actually use it, then it increases the cost by 70% of the X, and the S by 200%. So I have a poll on my channel, and it said that about half my respondents wanted to get the PS5, and only a quarter of them were successful in pre-ordering it. So half tried to pre-order it, and only half of those, a quarter of the respondents, got it. And only about 15% were even considering the Xbox. But I do think the people that follow my channel through either subscribe or view it skew more towards the PS4, the PlayStation, than other platforms. All right, so let's look at the GameSpot, or actually let's look at the IGN deals here, their Twitter, their tweets, right? So they gave up links. So U.S. military and vets, that came up kind of later. Walmart showed out of stock first. So they say that we got reports of members successfully checking out at Microsoft Store, which I did, Target, GameStop now, Walmart seems fully sold out, so people were checking out there early. And then really late, right, just about 2 hours in, Sam's Club went up. I believe they're out now. And then let's see, this is a Microsoft. So Microsoft sold out of X, at least after 2 hours, and then they still had S available. And then Newegg was one of the last ones to come up, as with Amazon. So Amazon was kind of putting up their page and then taking it down, and then it seems like Best Buy came back up too. Best Buy was really late. They were one of the last ones. I was refreshing that, waiting for them to come up, and they just didn't. And then Amazon put S up a little bit later, so that's so it started 10 my time. So we're about 2 hours later. So at least an hour and a half in. And that's what IGN Deals says. And let's see if we can go to Wario's. I found Wario at Wario64. I thought he did a better job than IGN Deals, to be honest, which is why everybody recommends him. We'll just start at the beginning. Okay, so he was posting links ahead of the time, so I had like all of the retailers open, although I think only 4 or 5 of them had actual links to go to, and then Amazon took down their links, so it went down to 4, and then Best Buy just didn't do anything. But I had it in the cart for Target, Walmart, and Microsoft and had all kinds of problems with all of them, was able to fulfill with Microsoft. And then the military purchases there went up. And yeah, then GameStop, you know, Wario was able to get into GameStop. I kept on looking at this screen right here, or even worse, their landing page, the general landing page for what a wonderful console Xbox is. And then we got Sam's Club just an hour ago, so over an hour into the sales. And Newegg was so slow to come online too. And then you got Amazon, right, kind of an hour late to come in. And then Best Buy after Amazon. And then you've got Series S coming online for Amazon late. Next. I didn't even know Next was selling that. That's interesting. We got to click on that. And then Microsoft was still selling the, over an hour, half in, was selling the S. And I think that's it. The rest of the things are about other stuff. So let's try this Next place. See. Yeah, sold out. So whatever this, I'd never heard of this Next. This is what, so that sold out pretty quick, I guess. I think it's all done now. I don't think you can get any X, but you probably could get some S. And I'm kind of surprised they didn't save some back for the all access stuff. But you know, I heard one guy that wanted all access, and he said he couldn't get one, so I'm kind of surprised by that. But anyways, cool tracker, and it gives you the kind of the history. I mean, I think some of it's not accurate, so I don't believe this is for the Sony PlayStation right here. So it says that the Sam's Club went online, right? So it says Walmart sold some on the 18th, and then Sam's Club sold some today. So I haven't heard any confirmation of the Sam's Club, and I'm not sure about the 18th. I bought it from Walmart on the 17th during that sale. Let's see if we can go to the other consoles. We'll go back. And Xbox, right? So, oh, it's saying that there's a site open for the S. So what we found is that the S is not very popular. You know, looking at, I was thinking about getting the S, and then I decided to get the X because I thought the X was smaller. It was somewhat more portable, but I figured I could put, you know, the X in my RV if I wanted to. And I just, you know, I like the Xbox because it's more durable. That I don't like those fins they got on the PS5, so I don't think you can really travel with it. But I think you can put the Series X on its side, no problem. But the S is still available, I guess. But I think the X is sold out about 2 hours, 2.5 hours since the stuff went live. So it was just a lot more organized than it was for the PS4, and the sales went on a lot longer. So that you had time to get in. You didn't need a bot, but you'd have a lot of frustration. You get it knocked out of your cart. So we're going to expand the history here. I think this is what we want to look at. This September 21st, I think this is not accurate here. I didn't hear any evidence of that, but maybe they're right. And obviously it's July 10th. That doesn't make any sense. So Walmart went out of stock first, although not the 1021. I didn't hear anything about those either. So maybe those were like landing pages that flickered, but maybe people sold some white. You know, I think the last thing live is the white, and I think Microsoft had the white S going for a long time. Yeah, that's the other thing. I think it's just the black console's nicer than a white console, just because it's gonna not get so dirty. It's not gonna look so garish. You know, I like the darker computers, I think. And so so Walmart sold out, went live first, sold out first. They don't have Target up here. Target was live there too. So they were out of stock at 11:06. I can confirm that. Although, you know, I had people that said they got one later, so maybe, I think they were pretty much out. And then the S out at 11:11, and then GameStop. Yeah, maybe it was hard to get to the page at GameStop. They had a landing page, and then they have the wait, and I never was able to see it while I was active, but I was done by 11:15. Microsoft Store went. Looks like they went live at about an hour and a half after things went live with the 512 gigabyte S, and the S went on sale about an hour and a half later at Amazon. Amazon went an hour later, and they don't have Best Buy, but Best Buy also went later. And then GameStop sold out their S bundles and their S about an hour and 45 minutes later. And then the Microsoft Store says they sold out of the white about 2 hours later, and the black sounds like they went back up. I think they're out currently, but you can try the Microsoft Store.